it just wouldn't be World of Tanks without the occasional heartbreak, and by occasional I actually mean regular and predictable. So, tier 8 match on Pearl River in my SU-100 M1. I actually kind of like this thing. Yep, you heard me right. But in this situation, well, I might have rather been in a different tank. Not a different tank destroyer, just a different tank. So I decided to go west to start with. Having no armor, I don't really want to tie myself to a bottleneck in the eastern side of the map. But it looks like the vast majority of our team is going west as well, and only 3 people have gone east, and one of them is our FE-304, who is actually the fucking vanguard of our attack in the east, which is not a good situation. I wasn't really paying as much attention to the map as I should have been, so I get quite far from base before realizing that, oh no, none of those heavies at the back of this giant lemming train are actually going to stop and turn around. So, our position here, looking for shots across on anything that gets lit. I still haven't really clued in on just how fucked we are in the east. In hindsight though, even if I'd noticed earlier, it probably wouldn't have mattered. Since by the time I got there, I was able to do quite a bit of work anyway. So you can see here, I realize, yeah, I should probably go back, and I tell Marius he should probably come with me. And sure enough, the enemies have started crossing the bridge. Now, this is what happens if you don't push into that valley. If you follow the puppy advice and don't cross the bridge, you're blind until the enemy actually get across it. You don't even know they're there until they're basically in your base, and that's just not right. That's not cricket. You've got to have some sort of forewarning of how many tanks are coming, because like if I'd been not paying any attention to the map instead of just not paying enough attention to the map, we could have lost this before I ended up going back. As it is, it's a miracle I did as much as I managed to. So you can see here I find a one-shot target and immediately go for him first. Black Prince is exposed and giving me what appears to be rear armor. He's next. Marius puts a shot in, I get one, but he steers and it bounces off his corner. Thankfully he then battleships, and Black Princes don't stand up to LB1's broadside. So here it's a game of camo and positioning basically. Myself and Marius are going to have to move from bush to bush, firing as we can to get shots on these guys, trying to hold them up as long as possible for the rest of our team to get work done. Incidentally, the only work the rest of our team are getting done is dying in droves. So here you go, we're looking for shots. I find one on this guy, and take it. I get lit, so immediately, instead of sitting around for another shot, I back off. The Centurion is probably what lit me. I fire on him as I reverse. Marius is also firing at him. Bad shot there. IS-3 is requested, so I'm going to shot into him. And he's burning. So this is a pretty rough situation we've got ourselves into here, because it's us two holding against all these guys, basically. We're waiting for Polka to move in from the west. I get lit again, but the IS-3 is not paying attention, so I want to get one into him, which managed to actually kill him. Now at this point the game looks irrecoverable, right? We've killed 4 tanks, they've killed 9. We're at a huge disadvantage, our positioning is all cocked up, our team's spread out from arsehole to breakfast. Any typical puppy at this point would just roll over and die and drive straight into the enemy and then complain about their team. But we're not any old puppy. So Marius dives in on the Centurion, because we need him dead. I'm put in a shot too, just to make sure. And then we've got this guy sitting in the open, engaging Poker. Fortunately, Poker takes the hits. And you can see here my gun depression is hampering me somewhat. I can't position very easily, because the SU-101's gun just does not depress. It's very much like the SU-101. I'm looking for the shot on this guy. Managed to actually get the shell into his cupola from the side and pin it, which I'm impressed with. The arc may have helped there. So Marius is pushing in. He doesn't have the hit points to do it though. Really, he probably should have fallen back, but I think at this point he wasn't in a position where he could, really, without being shot as he ran away. So instead I'm forced to just try and cover him as best I can. So I got an Indian Panzer here with me. He's still full health, but he's busy engaging the MT-25, which is a fair deal. Like you can see I'm shooting that too. We need that scout dead. It's spotting us for the guys in the west of the map. But the Indian coming back earlier would have been nice. So you can see I just got hit by the T-25 AT there. Thankfully did not pin. And so I want to get out of the MT-25 spotting. Indian takes care of him. And Marius is still alive somehow. That 101 hasn't decided to push him yet. I'm relit by the 25-2 probably. And so while Marius stops the 101 from poking out and shooting at me, I reposition a little. Indian dives on the 25-2. The T-25 AT is still firing at me, and I don't know exactly where he is. He probably hasn't moved much from where he was last spotted in F2. You can see our Indian, nope, there he is. Our Indian just threw his tank away to do a handful of damage to that guy. It's a complete waste. If he hadn't done that, we probably would have won. Well, we certainly would have won, actually. So now Marius is pretty much fucked here because these guys can shoot him in the back. Thankfully I managed to track this guy in the corner, or actually Marius tracked him, I think, I'm not sure. Either way, he's not going anywhere. And so we double team him. 25-2 is still up, although he's one-shottable, I believe. The 25-2 actually gets Marius there, without me managing to spot him in the process. So that's now the 101 and 25-2 threatening me. The Easy 8 somehow fucking up our Panther, and the enemy still have an Artie as well. Now, here is the thing about the 101. It doesn't have armor. Like, it just does not. But it has a really big gun mantlet in a really good spot, and it has good angles. So you can see I'm going for shots here. That was a bad shot. That was bound to hit at a terrible angle, but see, I just cannot get a shot into this guy because of the angles of the armor. It's a lot like the Jagdpanther 2 in that regard. Its armor is really paper thin, all things told, but it's so well angled that it just bounces you non-stop when it has no business to. But the one time you actually need your armor to hold up somebody, their shot just goes straight through because it hits you perpendicular. So now it's me alone against 2 tanks I could more or less one-shot and an Artie. Not a good situation to be in. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here, and I decide to run along the west, come in behind the 25-2, kill him, come into the cap, kill the SU-100M1, and then go look for Artie. Which is a sound plan of action my platoon mates agree upon. So here I am risking giving the SU-100M1 time to shift, but he doesn't know I'm moving because I've got pretty good camo and I wasn't spotted leaving the area, so as far as they're aware, I'm still camping a bush somewhere in my spawn. Meanwhile, I'm actually working around their back, looking for shots. So I was thinking of going for shots here. After a second or two, I realize it's not going to happen, and it's too risky anyway, and I need to go further. See, the 100M1 still hasn't put himself on cap, so he's still worried I'm there. This is the most dangerous part here, because once I'm in the water, I can't steer to save my life. I spot the 25-2 trying to pull a fast one, managed to snapshot him, it's quite lucky, it's a good thing that hit. And now I want to move because of that. It was a very good shot by their RD, it very nearly hit me. It was a bit careless there and knocked off some hit points, but now you can see the enemy 100M1 is in cap because he figures that I'm not going to be able to come back and hit him. Now, I'm looking at this now and I'm trying to think of things I could have done differently. I don't think I would have had time to go all the way around the map and through the valley. And even if I had, you know, what then? So I just approached the cap from basically middle where I was, which left me with no camo and no cover, unfortunately. That's a side effect. I could have come back the way I came out here, and that probably would have been sufficient. So you can see I hit that guy there. If only that shot had not gone into the rock, we would have won. So he managed to pull back just in time to avoid that. And this is where I fuck up. Instead of taking the long way around, having got the reset in, I get greedy and careless and overconfident and think, oh, I'll just take the corner wide and pop a shot into him. I have more hit points, he won't one-shot me. Actually, yes, he will. I completely forgot that the LB1 can actually roll that high. Its standard damage was increased a couple patches ago to 250, and I keep forgetting that that's a thing. And in this case, it cost me a game. I honestly think in that situation there were maybe one or two things I could have done better. I should have gone back around, or I could have gone all the way around the map, maybe, who knows. But I think otherwise I played that pretty much to the best of my ability, and it shows. I mean, I did everything in that game just about with Marius's help. Poker was in a bad position, so you know that's no reflection on him. That's what happens when you're in a KV3 in a tier 8 game and you get stuck in the open. But the defense by myself and Marius killed 9 tanks and held off the enemy team for a long time. So I guess I can't. I was quite irritated that was a loss, but I can't really be too mad because I still got a medal, so I still got the courageous resistance, so full XP off that, although I didn't get my double. And I think it was just a good solid match, just not the outcome I wanted.